In today's free enterprise system, two unforgiving truths prevail. The big eat the small, and the quick outmaneuver the slow. My name is Peter Baldwin, author of the Amazon bestseller, Profit Peak for Entrepreneurs. My passion is helping everyday entrepreneurs grow their companies from inconsequential to extraordinary. Whether I'm in the boardroom, the conference room, or the war room, I am always working shoulder to shoulder with many great entrepreneurs. In this show, we interview successful entrepreneurs, learn from business thought leaders, and pay attention to current events and trends and how they impact our businesses. Join us as we demonstrate that the American dream is still alive and well to those courageous enough to take the journey. This is Profit Peak for Entrepreneurs. Welcome to our latest edition of Profit Peak for Entrepreneurs. I'm your host, Peter Baldwin. Today's topic is achieving the American dream. When you think about it, there are really two American dreams. The first can be achieved on an individual level just by living in this country. The second level is reserved for entrepreneurs seeking a higher level of success. In the case of the individual, think about our American dream and how it compares to the opportunities in other countries. Way back in 1962, here's how Ezra Benson contrasted American capitalism with Soviet communism. Joe Brown, an average U.S. factory laborer, works approximately 20 minutes a day to buy a pound of bacon, or a pound of ham, or a pound of butter. Ivan, a Russian factory worker, labors about 7 times as long. 2 hours to buy a pound of bacon, 2.5 hours to buy a pound of ham, and the same to buy a pound of butter. It takes Joe less than 14 minutes work to buy a pound of chicken. It takes Ivan 2.5 hours, 11 times as long. It takes Joe about 7 minutes to earn a quart of milk. Ivan 27 minutes, 4 times as long. Joe works 5 minutes for a pound of rice and 3 minutes for a pound of flour. Ivan put in nearly 3/4 of an hour for each of these items, up to 15 times as long. We still enjoy very favorable comparisons to this day. If we as individuals can enjoy a piece of the American dream just by being here, think about the next level of success enjoyed by entrepreneurs. What inspires these entrepreneurs to build something new? Why would anyone in their right mind ever leave a cushy corporate job and venture out on their own? Did they consider the stress, the sleepless nights, and the worries about making payroll, paying vendors, and keeping loan covenants? Did they consider how business disasters like COVID-19 might impact their business? Not to mention the tough decisions they would need to make, like laying off staff and winding down operations. With all the risk associated with entrepreneurism, the rewards certainly must outweigh the sacrifice, and indeed they do. Yes, the American dream is alive and well, and we are so fortunate on this show to speak with many who have traveled this path. To start our show, we'll hear a special report on the origins of the American dream from our Profit Peak news reporter, Elizabeth Baldwin. We will then speak with Michael and Nikole Rose, CEO and President, respectively, of Mojo Media Labs. Daniel Melander, an investment advisor with WealthWave, will share with us some thoughts on how we can build lasting wealth. And back for an encore performance is Steve Starobinsky, founder of Kid at Heart, who will share some of the latest trends in the fun industry. Now let's get started.
Profit Peak for Entrepreneurs is brought to you by Intualize, unlocking the power of your business data. Dot Connect, connecting the financial dots of your enterprise, and WealthWave, disrupting the financial planning industry so families can dream again.
We hope you'll take some time to learn about our sponsors who are leaders in their field. Let's go next to Elizabeth Baldwin, who has a report from the Alamo in San Antonio, Texas.
The American dream is an ideal that goes way back to the American frontier times of over 200 years ago. In 1774, the governor of Virginia observed that the Americans forever imagined that the lands further off are still better than those upon which they are already settled. If they obtained paradise, they would move on if they heard of a better place further out. To live on the frontier meant you controlled your own destiny. You could own land and farm or ranch. You didn't have to worry about excessive government taxation and regulation, and you could achieve your ambitions regardless of your social class or circumstances of birth. Although this frontier ideal of the American dream sometimes worked and sometimes failed over the years depending on one's gender, race, and creed, the progress that has been made up to today is remarkable. Now, as in frontier times, immigrants from all over the world still seek to capture a piece of this American dream for themselves. And nowhere are the ideals of frontier life epitomized more than here at the historic Alamo Mission and Fort in San Antonio, Texas. Back in 1836, several hundred Anglo and Hispanic Texans, including such notables as James Bowie and Davy Crockett, fought and died here while defending themselves against a numerically superior Mexican army led by General Santa Anna. Remembering the Alamo is not a simple history lesson based on rooting for the success of one side. The Alamo struggle was more of a competition for land, resources, and power, with each competing force justifying their actions. As a Mexican American, I can appreciate that each side tried their best in a monumental power struggle, with the unfortunate outcome being the death of many on both sides. The Alamo symbolizes a special place where the ideals of freedom and creativity came into season, where frontier opportunities were readily identified and eagerly seized, and where heroism and resilience withstood a siege. The story of those who lived in and around the Alamo embodies the spirit of the American dream. It is available to all. It can be achieved by the hardworking, the resilient, and the creative. It may not come easy and will most likely be met with opposition, but that same American dream that was achieved on the frontier at places like the Alamo can still be achieved today. I'm Elizabeth Baldwin, and this is Profit Peak News.
Thank you, Elizabeth, for explaining the frontier origins of the American dream. Coming up after a word from one of our sponsors, we'll meet with Michael and Nikole Rose, owners of Mojo Media Labs.
For most small businesses, managing books, cash flow, and making informed decisions is a serious challenge. This is because of lack of an all-around team, information, and technology. The right solution has to be with a good mix of people, process, technology, and methodology. With a proven model to deliver results, .Connect's value proposition helps small businesses to run finance operations like the big corporations, with seasoned team and technologies, in-office and remote. Connecting the dots across finance functions, .Connect is the trusted advisor for small businesses to manage finance and accounting better and cost-effective. You can reach us at info@.connect.io.
Does your business need more customers? Would you like to enhance your customer focus or improve your overall branding? Meet the team of Mojo Media Labs, Michael and Nikole Rose, who are the CEO and president, respectively, of the company, business founders, and they've got a great business, digital marketing agency that is one of the largest agencies now in the U.S. And I'd like to know, how did you go from an idea to a full-fledged company?
Hey, Peter, thanks for having us. We're really excited to be here today. How do we go from idea to, as maybe we would say, action? There's a lot of, what we like to say is that ideas without action sometimes is a dream, but one of the things that we focus on is an idea without a plan is a dream. So we didn't always have a plan. But Mojo Media Labs has evolved over time as the times have changed, as technologies change. But Mojo is a revenue growth company. Though we are labeled as a marketing agency, we are one of those marketing agencies that want a seat at the table talking about revenue revenue, talking about sales. Marketing agencies starting up sometimes focus on metrics that may not be directly tied to growing the company or growing their client or adding new customers, as you said in your introduction. But we like talking about revenue. We like looking at all aspects of revenue of our clients. And it may not come from areas that they have traditionally seen. So, in particularly with the growth framework that we've put together, it's incredibly exciting what we're doing for our clients to impact their bottom line and top line of the business, not just vanity metrics of traditional marketing means.
That's terrific. And so your company vision statement is to enrich lives. And you also believe that happy people equal happy clients. So what does that mean, and how do you accomplish that?
Yeah, so this touches very near and dear to our hearts. So with that, and I'll touch on the reason why we do what we do, and that truly is to enrich people's lives, and that's not just a fluffy statement. We think about that with everything that we do, and with every stakeholder that comes into our business. How can we make their lives better? But happy people, happy clients. The equation is simple, but how do you create happy people? And over the years, we have found that creating a solid foundation of culture, which we have 3 pillars of. So again, it's quantifiable with us. We've got a very strong set of core values, which we created now 7 years ago, and they still exist today. And we hire by them, we reward by them, and if needed, we remove by them. And so our company, we live by those core values. We also implement a foundational aspect in our business called a results-only work environment. So each member of our team has the autonomy to work where they want, when they want, how they want, as long as they're meeting their results. It's a very freeing environment for people who, are high performers and achievers and don't need a lot of, that oversight. So it gives them the freedom and flexibility to be able to really contribute to the company. And then last, we implement what's called an open book management. And so our team members not only have complete they have complete transparency into our financials, but they actually have impact in impacting those numbers positively, and then we all share together in the profits, if you will, of the company, which they're very clear on. So that's our formula for creating happy people. And with that, we've got a lot of longevity with our team members, and when they're happy, they're wanting to produce and deliver amazing results to our clients, and so that's the equation.
That's terrific, and that brings a couple of things to my mind. First of all, I've been to your offices, and it's a very nicely designed, warm office space where people like to be. And I was sensing there's an energy there. So the concept, I'm going to ask you about return on energy in a minute. But this year, or this last 12 months, being the difficult work environment where you're looking for these specific individuals. They may not be in the office, but yet they're geared to be productive. So how have you managed during COVID-19, and how's your company been impacted, and how have your people performed?
Yeah, good question. Nikole had mentioned the results-only work environment, and to take that a step further, we're a certified results-only work environment. The acronym is ROW, so we're a certified ROW agency, and essentially what that means is people do get to work anywhere, any place, anytime, which sometimes gets confused with remote work. And we were certified ROW years prior to COVID hitting us. So we were prepared. We were prepared to continue work as usual. We're actually a step ahead in so many circumstances that we were able to help some of our clients deal with going remote work. But being a results-only work environment, which you can find on Wikipedia, results-only work environment, and you'll find Mojo Media Labs is the best practitioner. It started with Best Buy many years ago, but ROW it's not work isn't someplace you go, it's something you do. And though we have unlimited vacation time and everything else, and you never know if you're going to have a Zoom call with a Mojo maker, that if they're going to be on the beach or if they're going to be in their office or they're going to be at home, where they're going to be. But that's great because we treat everybody like adults, and then they're responsible for delivering the results that are tied to their performance standards.
Mm-hmm. So in terms of COVID, that was a non-issue for us. Like, we didn't miss a beat in terms of not, having to, be in the office. We do have a beautiful office. It has not seen many people over the course of the past year. But what did impact us is that many of our clients were impacted, right? So their revenues were impacted. And so therefore, in the short term, Mojo was impacted from a revenue perspective. It gave us the opportunity to, one, figure out how to quickly pivot and be agile and help our customers to grow, which we have in many cases, even during this very tough time, to where they just had to pivot to now do things virtually versus how they were doing them, prior to. But also, and just as important, it allowed us to see where kind of some of the weak spots were, and capitalize on opportunities that we had been thinking about, to make investments in areas that we've gotten new certifications, built new things within our company that now are providing even more value to our clients, and becoming more appealing even for our prospects. So it was a tough year. We didn't, obviously see it coming like everybody else, but super pleased in terms of how our entire team came together to not just rebound, but become way better than even where we were before.
And what I would add to that is how the team came together specifically is leveraging not just Row, but leveraging the open book management philosophy. So as Nikole mentioned, every person at Mojo has line item responsibility on the profit and loss statement. So no longer do Nikole and I feel accountable to the financial performance of the agency. It is literally spread out amongst all Mojo makers. So when COVID hit, the team immediately got together and said, how can we, because we manage our finances on a weekly basis in a weekly huddle, people got to work, and there was an incredible amount of creativity, not just on the revenue side, but on the expense side. One of my favorite two stories is Stephanie, our lead creative, was basically came up with, we should get certified in the story brand concept in order to tell our clients' stories more clearly, more articulately, and faster than the process that we were following before. Story brand has been a game changer for not just Mojo, but for our clients. Sam, our lead developer, developed a CMS theme on the HubSpot marketplace, and that is powered by the messaging framework that we can start websites faster for our clients, get our clients market faster. So ultimately, what we discovered through COVID is many things, but one is when you put decisions in the hands of employees and empower them to make those decisions based on the framework of core values, you set the goals and they'll figure out a way to make it happen. And it wasn't just Nikole and I, but it was honestly the team that came together. And now what ultimately we've discovered that is our clients need speed. So we need to get to market faster. We need to be more agile and get them results faster than what we were doing before.
Very good. So the question now is, with regards to marketing, you mentioned that you had some impacts from clients maybe cutting down on marketing. It seems like there's been two pools of thought lately on what to do when you're in a crisis situation. You just cut all the costs and batten down the hatches and survive. And the other option is, this is where we maintain our business strategy and we continue with the marketing. So I just wanted to ask you on this marketing thing, your recommendation is what that these clients do when times get tough?
So double down. definitely don't stop. I understand some businesses were in a situation where that was, very tough call, but, doing the same things, perhaps not. It's always smart to take a look to see how we can, work smarter with the different circumstances. How can we pivot? So, for example, one of the clients that we were working with, it had a lot of in-person training that they were doing. Mm-hmm. And so very quickly we worked with them on a new strategy and helped them to create virtual courses and classes, which we then very quickly were able to put together, market online, and within days their first course was completely full. This started a whole new revenue chain, and then in addition we continue to leverage account-based marketing to go after some of their perfect fit clients, which really started to pick up steam as well. And we have a quote from this particular client saying that, because of the efforts, we have helped them to rebound about a quarter, 1 quarter sooner than what they had even been anticipating. And so it's really exciting to see. And
what I would add to that is many prospects that we talk to, many clients that we're dealing with, but the people listening today who we don't work with, it may be a good idea to stop your marketing. It may be a good idea to cut that expense altogether, because if it's not driving results, if you don't have the momentum, marketing is not an expense, it's an investment. And if that investment's not paying off, whether it's immediate or you see it paying off in the long term, absolutely cut it. The most important thing is preserve the financial wherewithal of the business so you can retain employees. You might be able to hire better hires than you would have normally because the unemployment rate is higher. Whatever it takes to sustain the business. But if you're working with an agile marketing agency who knows how to pivot from online to offline or offline to online, whatever that agile campaign strategies might be, then absolutely make sure that, but going into COVID, if you know where your investments were paying off, that allowed you to diversify your marketing spend in order to spend more money in areas that you know are going to produce results, because losing marketing momentum during these times is just too expensive to try to get back once things start to rebound.
Yeah. And it's all in the momentum. So let's take a moment here and talk about your book, Michael. So you wrote ROE Powers ROI. And one of the first things I learned, ROE did not stand for return on equity, which, by the way, for small to medium-sized businesses, as a financial person, I'm not that fond of that metric. However, yours stands for return on energy. And back to this concept of return on energy powers return on investment, and the ways of communication that you talk about this. Share with us a little bit why you wrote this book and what people can learn from it.
Sure. Return on energy was originally conceived, if you will, talking about idea to action and then ultimately business and revenue, back in 2007, December 07. And the concept was just kind of an idea that started on simply the word return on, the phrase return on energy. So ROEs became an obsession of mine over the past many years. The book was published in 2012. And I have to be honest, it's been over the past several months, to be honest with you, that I've truly found my purpose with return on energy. I have published the book, and some would call it an expensive business card, but some would say it's a path to thought leadership. It's a concept to get on stage, but for me, I wrote it for myself. I needed direction. I was losing my passion for the business, and I didn't understand why. Though the purpose of the business was established, my personal purpose was not established. And what I've been able to discover through using return on energy of myself is that I am super passionate to energize entrepreneurs to grow their business, to live a life they love. I would felt like I was living in an imposter syndrome being an author, speaking on return on energy and how to put time, money, and effort together to really create something special. But it wasn't really until I learned that leveraging the concept of return on energy helped me build a life that I love. I love what I'm doing. I love who I'm doing it with. And with that, it became a passion project now to launch digital courses in return on energy, as well as masterminds, to help teach other entrepreneurs that if they can find their energy and their passion behind their personal purpose, then they can live a life they love through their business to continue to serve other people.
I loved your segue there at the end, that you love who you work with. And one of the people you work with is Nikole.
Almost everybody I work with sometimes, though.
And you are a husband and wife ownership team. So like many of the guests who have been on our show, you have to seek balance between your family life and your work life. So how do you make things work, both of you?
I don't necessarily believe in balance. I'm curious to hear how Nikole answers this, but I'll go first. I don't believe in balance. I believe in integration. So it's not work-life balance. It's work-life integration. And I think to truly power, to power your business, everybody in the business really looks to the leaders, or the entrepreneurs, or the founders as the source of energy or the source of inspiration. And when you're putting others first, that's really hard to do. I really feel in a non-selfish way, you have to put yourself first. You have to put your mask on first. And when you're in a good headspace, then you can take care of your family. And when you take care of your family, then you can take care of your business. And I truly believe the majority of entrepreneurs out there are servant-based entrepreneurs, and they want to help other people, but that should probably come last after your business. So what I think Nikole and I do is we have a common purpose to help others, and that helps us drive the performance of our business, and not just from a financial performance, but from a culture performance. So then we can take care of our family, but I think allow us each to spend time on ourselves as well. We don't have any hard, fast rules that we don't talk about work after 5 p.m. We talk about work all the time. We talk about family. It's an integration on how we can leverage this wonderful opportunity that we have in the business to impact other people, but take care of ourselves at the same time.
Very good, Nikole. What do you say?
Well, I would say that we have a lot of other interests. Like, Mike and I enjoy our lives, which is much more than just the business. And so we have a great time together, ultimately. And we've been working together now for about 12 years. And is it always easy? No, of course not. It's the very first question that anybody who meets us, asks, you guys work together? I could never work with my spouse. How do you do it? And there's a mutual respect. We have this, a shared vision and goal. And like Mike said, to, helping people, and, so it's greater than each other. But we've also figured out where our individual strengths are. And we're very respectful, I think, of one another, to understand, that, for example, Mike, as a visionary, he is the visionary for Mojo Media Labs. And, I'm respectful of that. I am more of an operator, right? I'm more of okay, let's take this and figure out how we can really push it forward. And so we've, I think, been able to figure out really key roles for ourselves over the years that have allowed us to be able to make our autonomous decisions, but come together where necessary. And then the team that we've developed around us can kind of, fill in some of those gaps. We've got an amazing leadership team and whatnot. So there's lots of things that we put in place, but we always make sure to have a lot of fun and enjoy each other. We enjoy drinking wine too. Does that count? We love wine.
And what I would add to that quickly is that I think, as important as it is to find your strengths, I think it's more important to find out not your weaknesses, but where those conflict triggers are. Our conflicts generally happen in operations, and we now know that that's an area that either I completely get away from and she completely takes, and I don't second question anything, or we find somebody else who's similar in thinking of operations, which we have done, and being able to remove those conflicts and understand what our trigger points are that create those conflicts is really, really important. Yeah. So I think it's to play on your strengths, I think is good, but most importantly, find out not weaknesses, but where your conflicts are and build around that. We have an amazing opportunity, as many entrepreneurs do, and you can build a team around you as you're supposed to, put the right people in the right seats at the right time, and then just get the heck out of their way and let them do their job.
Yeah.
And so much about today's episode has been about achieving the American dream. And I really like how you've come together and you've built this company. And thank you so much, Michael and Nikole Rose of Mojo Media Labs, for sharing your insights with us. And for any who would like a copy of your book, I went on Amazon and I see it's available there. So you can grab that on Amazon.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, guys, for joining us today.
Thank you, Peter.
My pleasure,
Appreciate
Peter.
it.
Thank you.
Next up, after a word from our sponsor, we'll hear from Daniel Melander of WealthWave. Daniel will teach us some techniques on building our wealth.
Hello, everybody. My name is Daniel Melander, and my partner is Andy Wang, and we are financial professionals with the How Money Works company. And between the two of us, we have over 43 years of experience in the financial service industry, and as helping business owners and families accomplishing their goal has been a priority of our businesses for many, many years. Today, I'm going to be sharing with you the essentials that every business owner should know about understanding how money works, and I'll be covering these 7 money milestones. Much of what you're hearing today is going to be coming from a book entitled How Money Works, Stop Being a Sucker, and it is literally changing lives. Today I'll be covering briefly the 7 money milestones and walk you through a step-by-step plan that is designed to chart your course to financial security and independence. As you can see, these 7 steps are not difficult, but they begin with education. And education is lacking dramatically in our society today. I don't know about you, but my mother, a 2nd grade teacher, taught school for 45 years. And I asked her one day, is anything in curriculum in schools teaching about finance and how money works? And, from grade school all the way through high school, there's very few schools that have a essential course or required course on money management or, how money works. And so it is definitely, a crusade of ours in teaching people and helping them become financially literate and find a financial professional that they can discuss their needs and their goals with. Now, the second step in our 7 money milestones is proper protection. A business owner needs to protect their business from loss of income in case they become incapacitated, right, or to their family. And so protecting that wealth against loss of income and the loss of savings is very, very important, whether that be through cross-purchase plans or various types of ways of protecting your family. Now, step number 3, many people forget, which is emergencies. We all have them, right? But most people, right, they pull out that credit card for emergencies. And, all financial advisors agree that you need at least 3 to 6 months of emergency funds sitting aside that you can access cash in case something happens. Now, step 4 is debt management. We all know debt is a plague going on in our society, and we need to have spending habits that go along with, the other things that we're trying to accomplish. And if we don't have a proper debt plan in place, that debt is going to overcome us. And so we need to strive to eliminate debt, but do it smartly, because you still need to save while you're investing, which leads us to cash flow and building wealth. Now, some of you may have all the cash flow in the world, but many out there in starting businesses or that maybe work for a large corporation don't think about cash flow and how they need to manage their expenses. For instance, you need to look at ways to earn additional income in your profession, right? And manage those expenses prudently so you can have more working for you rather than against you. And then move on to step 6, which is build wealth. And building wealth is really what we're here to do, right? We want to build something for the future, for that be retirement or whether that be our families. And so when we're building wealth, there's a few things that we need to avoid. One is we need to understand the impact of taxes, right, and inflation. And with that, taxes can absolutely destroy your financial plan if everything is in a tax-deferred bucket, right? Now, each bucket is important in financial planning, but you need to understand how that bucket is taxed and then take advantage of the best ways to reduce that tax, okay? So inflation and taxes on top of getting a good return that will outpace, inflation and put you in a position to accomplish your goals. And so that leads us to step 7, which is you better be protecting all that wealth you've accumulated, right? And that can be done through various ways of estate planning. We like to call it legacy planning. But if you don't protect it, you're going to lose it to Uncle Sam. And your beneficiaries will end up with much less than what maybe your bottom line was when you passed. And so all of these things together are important. You may be on a different stage here than others, but it's key that you look at every step and make sure you're maximizing it. For those of you who wish to seek out more information, you're welcome to schedule a complimentary consultation with myself and Andy Wang, and we look forward to adding more value to you and your business. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Daniel, for those great ideas on wealth building. Coming up after a word from our sponsor, we'll enjoy a fun segment from our resident expert in the fun industry, Steve Starobinsky, founder of Kid at Heart. I can't wait to see what he's brought with him today.
As a mid-sized industrial distributor, you run a machine with plenty of moving parts. From sourcing to inventory management, sales operations to cash flow hurdles, optimizing every facet of your business can be an incredibly tall task. That's why we build Intualize. Designed by industrial distributors for industrial distributors, Intualize is a predictive analytics platform that captures and organizes the mission-critical data you need to maximize your business's growth and cash flow.
We like to end each episode with a fun segment. And keeping with our theme of achieving the American dream, back by popular demand, we have brought Steve Starobinsky, who is the founder of Kid at Heart.
Kid at Heart.
And he brings things that he finds in his world travels, and we're going to find out what he brought for us today.
I brought something pretty funny, something that is simultaneously for the biggest partier and maybe for your fascia. This is a bass maker. It is an attaché with 2 humongous speakers in here. It has 18 hours of battery life. You can plug a guitar or a microphone directly into this while playing the Bluetooth. So it basically allows you to have a concert anywhere or sing karaoke or be an activist or do whatever you'd like to amplify your sound. These 2 guys from Austin and Toronto, Canada, are chasing their American dream. They started, they were friends, they met in Hong Kong, and they brought their first sample on this Dragon Boat party. And that Dragon Boat party stereo system went out. And Stu's bass maker sample was the one thing that kept the party going. That's how this brand started. They got so many compliments. They're like, okay, we got to do it. And they launched the Indiegogo this Earlier this year, they sold $25,000 worth of basemakers, launched the Instagram, launched the website, launched the Shopify site, like got promotional opportunities with Anheuser-Busch, with Tito's, with Friday Beers. We got like product in front of Rick Ross. They're chasing it. And I think the speaker market is super available. Like there's no cool speaker in the market right now until Basemaker.
Well, I don't know about briefcases in general. I haven't really carried a briefcase, but now I think I want to carry a briefcase because that's brought something back and put it in a fun way. That I don't know. Would we check this in the baggage when we fly, or is it a carry-on, Steve?
You know, I've carried this onto multiple flights. It goes directly under the seat, right where you think it does. You can take this on the road. It's extremely portable. Like it just is one of those things. Stu, one of the founders, would love that comment, Peter. He told us the funniest thing, and he's been trying to make the briefcase cool since the 6th grade. Like it is his life's mission to bring this piece of luggage back into pop culture. And it took 2.5 to 6.5 inch speakers to make it cool.
So often as entrepreneurs, we think about, I've got to go design, this wonderful, extraordinary concept that's never been thought of before. But when the rubber hits the road, we really find that it's taking something existing and putting separate ideas together into the same concept. And so that's really neat.
Yeah, man, it's a lot. Yeah, I think you said it. You don't want to necessarily make something cool or make something cool that goes mass market. You want to take something that's in the mass market and make it cool. That's where the opportunity exists. Everybody, understands this shape and everybody understands the novelty of it. But then we flipped it on its head by putting incredible sound in this thing and making this a portable karaoke machine and it being the ultimate party starter. And made it cool, and these are two of the colors in blue and red. We have an orange and yellow in this awesome hunter green, and of course a classic black, sleek. And by the way, the numbers turn on there. You could put your 333, 999, whatever you want up there. It's cool. It's cool. It's cool.
All right. So did we get a sample of it? Can we get a sample of it?
Yeah. Let me grab my phone here.
It plays. You gotta hear this.
We're going to put on a very thumping song by a gentleman who was known to be by the name of Mozart. This thing goes, man. Yeah. I mean, we were just dancing to classical music because of the Basemaker.
Well, that's great. And, you can choose your own music. So what are some of the other trends? We're talking about space to bring a product. What are some other trends you see as we close out this segment?
Yeah, I mean, look, the streetwear industry is really, really exciting right now. Fashion is being flipped on its head because people are rethinking how long an item should really last and going to a lot of secondhand markets. The warehouse space is being disrupted, right? Target has become a warehouse. Like each individual Target is a mini warehouse now where people are going to curbside pickup and finding, whatever they need. We are shortening the timeline between innovation and the consumer's hand. Like Corona and us just rethinking how everything works and embracing technology has made play very possible in a lot of different spaces.
Terrific. Steve Starobinsky, you're truly a kid at heart.
Yes.
And thank you for bringing these wares to us. You can find these. We'll post them. We'll post the links for that. Thank you for joining us, and we'll catch you another time.
Thanks, brother. See ya.
That was so much fun, Steve, to learn about the Basemaker Stereo. Thanks for livening things up with us with some of the best royalty-free music we could find. Before the show, my teenagers suggested I play some of their contemporary favorites, but those tunes are all licensed and affected our ability to post this episode on various media channels, so we went with Mozart, Rock Me Amadeus. Our theme today has been Achieving the American Dream. Our Profit Peak reporter, Elizabeth Baldwin, shared the frontier origins of the American Dream. We interviewed Michael and Nikole Rose and learned how we can focus better on our people and clients. And we gained some other great business insights too. Daniel Melander taught us about wealth building. And we enjoyed a visit from Steve Starobinsky, who showed us how two commonplace items, a briefcase and a speaker, can be combined into a uniquely awesome stereo briefcase. There's plenty of ideas out there. We just have to find them. We hope you enjoyed this episode of Profit Peak for Entrepreneurs, and we'll catch you on the next one. Until then, may your cash flow and your profit peak.